Welcome to the Lineman Lounge, hosted by Mike and Evo, calling their shots and being outlandish.
Breaking news from the Lineman Lounge. My fantasy football team just took a huge fucking hit. And that also makes it even more likely that the Raiders are going to beat the Ravens on Monday night. Le'Veon Bell is about to be your starter. Latavius Murray is going to go there as well. Jesus, fuck my ass.
Get ready for the thickest podcast in the game. Coming to you from Hangar 6, where sleeves are optional. Strap in. The show starts right now.
Como estan, bitches? This is the Lineman Lounge. I'm Mike. And we have a ton of people in the room. Top right corner that you guys see, that's our man, Evo. To my left, your right, I have Sexy Torres. Down below me, we have Dave. $20 is $20. The Vanilla Gorilla. And bottom right corner, we got Goose, Bobbert Goblin, Eagles sideline reporter. And we are here today for a massive mock draft. We're going to go through the entire first round. We're going to have, Dave is going to start us off. Torres is going to go second, and then mostly it's going to come down to me, Goose, and Evo, breaking down all your picks today. But, man, I am super pumped to be here. Once again, as you can see, still going through changes. I am in a brand new location once again, but it gives me an opportunity to bring this lovely gentleman in with me. Evo, how you doing today, big guy?
Bud, big guy? I'm doing.
Yeah. I haven't even drank yet.
Well, I bet you that's about to change because you got the guy always making you do shotguns right next to you, and I've heard rumors of shots, which I won't be participating in.
So here's the thing: I got some shit to do tonight that I absolutely am not allowed to be intoxicated for.
Doesn't matter.
Oh.
I have to go and coach some youth football, and we're gonna win a fucking championship tonight. So I cannot do a bunch of shots. I've told him I will do one shot, and I will do one beer. Those are going to have to be early on in the show because I cannot show up and be intoxicated when I coach these kids.
Well, speaking of championships, that's what I've kind of got planned for the rest of the evening. Other than a little bit of college here and there, maybe jump into some video gaming with Dave if he's up for playing. But I have a championship game tonight too. My Minnesota State Mavericks, my alma mater, is playing in the Frozen Four Championship tonight at 5 p.m. here Arizona time. It's exciting for me because of all the sports teams that I root for, Twins, Timberwolves, Vikings, it doesn't matter. They've never win a championship. So if I can finally get a championship win today, I'll be pretty fucking happy. So I'm excited for that, but for right now, I'm super stoked to be in here with everybody. You've got a big group here for this mock draft. You guys might remember Goose from last year when we actually did a mock draft on the show. Before I was even a permanent member of the show, we had Goose on. And if you all remember, Goose dropped a 6-letter F word, and we're really sorry about that.
Yeah, I like how we're pushing that on Goose.
Yeah, don't go back and look for that.
Yeah, don't look that up. Good.
Hashtag cancel Evo.
Yeah, that's not anywhere on YouTube, so we're good. You're gonna have to go back in the archives of Facebook to find that one. So,
yeah,
Goose, how you doing
excited
today, man? I mean, we haven't heard anything out of you yet. How we doing this morning? Or I guess this afternoon now.
I'm doing good.
Okay, good. It sounds like you're very excited. Been watching a lot of tape.
He's already at 100%, so we're good to go.
We're gonna crank this shit up to 11, huh, Goose?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dave.
Yes.
What's up,
$20,
Doug?
$20. How we doing?
Doing great, man. Had me a raised energy this morning. Gave a raised energy to the Sexy Torres over there. Son had a soccer game today. He scored a goal. They won 5-1. So,
Awesome.
Oh, hell yeah.
So we got
There's
that
some new
going
sports
on.
in here after all, right?
I got some new merch going on with my new $20 is $20 hat.
Yeah, those are fucking dope.
Yeah,
by the way.
right here.
We're gonna be getting those new hats here as well, sporting those on the show because those are pretty dope versions of the hat. I like my pink hat, but I like that trucker hat a little bit better.
Yeah, I gave Torres a blue one today of the old hats. And
Okay.
He's got the old and busted, and this is the new hotness.
Oh yeah, that new swag.
I mean,
Is it on there? Yeah, there it is.
that
I
new,
like
that
your
new
house,
stuff.
Dave. Is
Thanks,
that new?
man. Yeah, I try to, $20 is $20, and Vanilla Gorilla, I'm doing well for myself.
Yeah, I see. With that grand piano in the background, obviously that you're just fucking rolling in the dough.
I've been trying to play some chopping.
Yeah, Dave's highfalutin ass in his mansion over here, his Southern Arizona mansion. It's great.
See, I'm a big fan of my background today. We got men doing man shit, so we're out in the garage with some tools.
Oh, we have a comment from producer Amber Carlisle already.
Producer Amber's telling us the Maroon D-backs won 7-4, and Graydon continues to make really good plays over there at third base. He's been fantastic on defense. He needs to swing the bat a little bit better, be more aggressive. But hey, watching him play third base, it is starting to become natural. I was kind of sad that I had to leave a little early, but I mean the kid is a great defensive third baseman. He's a big boy, so he's gonna be a corner infielder or an outfielder. So get him started on that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting started.
Oh, getting a beer cracked already for Torres.
Awesome.
You're not shotgun on that one? No?
Dude,
Not yet.
Come on now.
tread lightly. Tread lightly.
Hey, listen, just because I'm not drinking doesn't mean I can't get you housed.
That's true. So, Mike, we got any show notes we want to go over before we get kicked into this draft? I know that there's at least one news story that you want to talk about today.
Yeah, so we'll talk about some of the other stuff at the end. But one thing that we kind of need to talk about is Dwayne Haskins tragically lost his life this morning. And, I mean, you can say what you want about him professionally as an NFL player. The guy was a legend at Ohio State. I'm rocking my Ohio State sleeveless hoodie right now. And when I got the news, it sucks. I mean, he's an Ohio State legend, and I am an Ohio State guy. Anytime you see somebody at the age of 24 lose their life, that's entirely too early, especially in the kind of accident that he was in. Tragically, he was hit by a car and then lost his life this morning. This is one of those things that's really sad, and it's not the fact that he wasn't out partying doing crazy stuff. He's down in South Florida working out with his teammates, the other quarterbacks, the wide receivers. They're down there throwing, getting together, and then something like this happens. So thoughts and prayers out to the entire Haskins family and everybody in that Pittsburgh Steelers organization as well. Listen, I'm a Browns guy, but this is way beyond football, so I feel for those guys right now.
Yeah, it's pretty shitty when this happens. I mean, like you said, 24 years old. It doesn't matter about his professional career. We can say, oh, he hasn't lived up to his draft expectations or anything like that. It doesn't really matter. It's the 24-year-old, kid that lost their life in just a kind of random incident. So really sucks. It sucks for him and his family. We feel for them. And then obviously for all the NFL squads that he's worked with, all the players that he's played with and impacted in one way, shape, or form. It's pretty shitty loss that we heard about this morning.
Yeah, it was not great. Matters were made worse by some tweets that were sent out. I do not want to discuss that today. I will come back next week and I'll talk about the terrible thing. Well, the really tone-deaf things that were said, but this is not the time for that. This is still very new, and everybody who is a big fan of the NFL should be sending thoughts and prayers out to Dwayne Haskins' family and everybody involved in that situation. So we'll move on from there because it's tough to start off a show this way. We've had to do it a couple of times before. It kind of sets a somber mood, but I want to transition and kind of let's pick up the mood a little bit and remember Dwayne Haskins for all the good things that he did.
Absolutely. All right. Well, with that, did we get into the draft?
I think so. Give me 1 second.
Oh, gotta hydrate.
Yeah.
I got a lot of shit to do today, so I gotta stay hydrated. Now, it is a big couple of weeks coming up for the show. We got our mock draft this weekend. We're gonna try to get another one next week with some other podcasts. And when I was coming up with the draft order, you never know how it's going to go, who wants to go first. But much like the NFL, I figured it was appropriate to give the guys who maybe are not so in-depth with the following, the first couple picks, kind of like those teams who are not great at playing football. Now, Dave is a very avid gambler. But I mean, he's not watching tape like Goose is typically watching tape, just crushing film. So we're going to kick off the draft. Dave, $20. The Vanilla Gorilla, whatever you want to call him, is going to kick things off, and he is going to be picking for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yes, sir, Jacksonville Jaguars, and that's what we're doing here. So with the first overall pick in the 2022 draft, the Jaguars will select J.J. Watt because that's who Adan Hutchinson is. Adan Hutchinson is the next J.J. Watt. The Michigan Wolverines play with grit and moxie, and if he has one downside, it's his attitude. If anyone who tells you that's a problem,
so loud.
they're a horseman anywhere, all right? At 6'7", 260 at the combine, he's the perfect blend of size, strength, and speed where he can fit in and be molded to any scheme. He's solid all around, pass and run game, and while he might not make SportsCenter highlights each week, he'll surely see his fair share at the Pro Bowls. His ceiling may not be as high as some defenders in his class, but he is one of the lowest, and if not the lowest floor, of all the first-round talent. The Jaguars heavily reloaded this offseason, but is still searching for an identity. Trevor Lawrence is that clean-cut offensive identity. Now with Hutchinson, they have the gritty, nasty, two-time captain on the defense who everyone will rally around.
That was fantastic analysis, and I love it. When you said J.J. Watt, I was like, oh, God, what did we – oh, yeah, here we go. And then Adan Hutchinson. Evo, go ahead, and I'll let you talk about Adan Hutchinson for a minute, and then I'll hop in.
Yeah, absolutely. So Adan Hutchinson, we've already gone over in all of our pre-draft talk where we went over all the position groups, talked about Adan Hutchinson from Michigan. Him and David Ojabo are the two main guys there, and then Ojabo went down with that injury. Ojabo always talked about, he hasn't been playing football as long as an Adan Hutchinson. He was learning from Adan Hutchinson how to be a good football player. Adan's got that great moxie that you look for from a defender. He's not elite at any one thing. He's pretty good at the pass rush, but he's also a great run defender. And he just brings that moxie, that kind of energy to a team where guys like to rally around him. Kind of like Dave brought up, you got Trevor Lawrence on the offensive side of the ball there in Jacksonville, and they don't really have a defensive identity right now. So bringing in an Adan Hutchinson really boosts up that defensive energy, that defensive kind of face of the team. And he's going to be a great selection for the Jaguars. And I absolutely think this is going to be the route that they're going to go come April 28th when the draft actually goes down.
Yeah, I 100% agree, man. I think this kid is really special. He's, I don't think he has the highest ceiling, but he has the highest floor. I don't think that you're going to have too many issues when you make this pick. It makes sense. They're getting a lot better on the offensive side of the ball. They've gone out. They have signed guys this offseason to help out Trevor Lawrence and that offense get better. They need to go get a cornerstone and have a face of their defense. Adan Hutchinson could be that guy. So I like this pick. I think it makes sense.
Absolutely. All right. And with that, Dave, I know you got plenty of shit to do. You gotta go clean that mansion and
it's a mess behind the fireplace over there. So I got a big old shipment of Raise Energy in. So if you need that good, clean energy and you want to demand more, go to repsports.com and use code $20 to save 15% off on your order. Also, like Mike said earlier, I'm an avid gamer, so might not be good at football, but catch me on Warzone live daily on Twitch. $20 is $20. And if you like to eat, check out my other YouTube channel, the Vanilla Gorilla Eats. I give all the food reviews, and Goose down there made a baller logo for the Vanilla Gorilla, so big shout out to that. So you guys continue with your draft. I'll be watching. I just won't be participating because, like I said, got some things to do.
All right, I appreciate you, Dave. Thanks for popping in.
Thanks for coming in, and great pick to start off our 2022 mock draft.
All righty, later, Dave. Oh well, this is
that's not
jarring.
Look, there we go. There
Alrighty.
we go. Oh, it's much better.
So with that, we're moving on to the second pick. That is going to be the Detroit Lions, and that means that our boy Torres is on the clock.
That's right. Sexy Torres with the pick. Let's go ahead, man.
All right, so obviously the Colts don't have a first round. If not, I would be picking for my Colts. But But yeah, they gave it away for a terrible quarterback, and I don't want my Colts facing.
Whoa! A terrible quarterback.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're not a Matt Ryan fan?
No. That's not where that pick
That's
went.
not where that pick went.
Oh, you're talking about the previous pick that went. Yeah, okay. All right. I thought you were talking shit on Matty Ice. I was about to be like, hold up.
No. No, but I do kind of fear for his safety now if the Jaguars do draft. Okay, but I will say, and I'm going to go ahead and shake things up. I don't think that the Lions. I don't think their answer to quarterback is Jared Goff. I think he's on a decline, and I think he's going to continue on a decline. And so they got a bunch of picks for Stafford, geez, thank you. I've been brain farting a lot lately. They got a bunch of picks. So I think they're going to be in a rebuild. I think that they are going to draft Malik Willis. I think Malik Willis won't get the starting job right away. I believe he's going to sit behind Goff for a bit. Just the same way that Aaron Rodgers did. And yeah, I think that's where we're going to go. So my second pick for the Detroit Lions is going to be Malik Willis.
You bitch.
Oh yeah.
I knew it was going to.
So I'm going to go first on this one. So I like Malik Willis. I think he has the most upside of all of the quarterbacks. I also think he has the lowest floor. I think he could be an absolute bust. And the Lions are a team that is absolutely struggling and needs a ton of talent. I think it makes sense for them to get a quarterback. I don't know if it's number 2, though. I think if you're picking number 2, you got to go after somebody that you think is day one starter. Like this is, unless they think Willis is a franchise guy. And I'm not sure any of these quarterbacks are franchise guys.
If I was Malik Willis, I wouldn't be happy about being picked by the Lions. I don't think that would help him reach his potential.
I don't know. I mean, so I will say I don't like the pick here because the Lions do have the last pick in the draft this year, and they'll be able to get one of these top quarterbacks. You know, I don't know that there's a ton of first round talent in this draft at quarterback, like we've talked about previously when we went over the quarterbacks. I do like Malik Willis. This is high for him. And if the Lions had waited till that last pick in the first round, they probably still could have gotten one of these quarterbacks they're all going to be a project, no matter what. And you have that bridge in Jared Goff to hopefully build up this project quarterback. Now, what I will say is I don't think Malik Willis going to the Lions is necessarily a bad thing. If we're not talking about draft position or anything, because he's not going to have to start right away. And I like what Dan Quinn is doing there. Not Dan Quinn. Who's the head coach?
Motor City Dan Campbell.
Yeah, Dan Campbell. Other Dan. I like what Dan Campbell is doing there in Detroit. They were a feisty team. Their record didn't show how good they were. And I think that they have the opportunity to build and have a decent squad. You're just not going to get anything out of Malik Willis this year, I don't think, until Jared Goff starts to look really shitty. And so he could be walking into a decent position in the future years, you know, in next year or year after. But you could have been doing that by drafting a quarterback later and building up that roster a little bit more.
I just don't think that he was going to last up until that last pick that they had.
No,
I don't think he will last there either. They'd have to make a move to go up.
Yeah, we're not doing any trades today. We're not doing any trades, so that way, you know, everyone understands that Malik Willis absolutely would not last to the 32nd pick. But
he doesn't make it
you
past
can get
20.
a quarterback. No. So, all right, Torres shaking things up a little bit, and now, like. Stuff that I've seen, Malik Willis is not off of their radar. He is definitely a possibility. I think that's just a little bit high. The Lions would probably like to trade down a couple picks in real life and then take Malik Willis and feel a lot better about it. If they're able to trade down and still stay in the top 10 picks and take Malik Willis, I'm 100% on board with that.
Yeah, so, I mean, somebody's going to get a kid that is going to be a little bit of a project, but has immense fucking potential here. But he's got to go to the right situation. I'm not sure Detroit is the best scenario for him. I also don't think Seattle's the best scenario for him. If I'm a league, I would rather go to Detroit over Seattle at this point because there's going to be a coaching change there very soon. I think Detroit is very much sold on Dan Campbell right now. But, man, this is very early. I knew he was going to go fairly early. 2 is a little rich for my blood. But, he has a ton of potential.
All right. Well, moving on to the next pick number 3, we have Goose picking for the Texans.
So, Texans are obviously in a rebuild. They could take someone at a lot of different positions. I was looking at offensive tackle, probably be a good way to build. But I think they just need to take best available and take Kayvon Thibodeau.
Oh, Kayvon Thibodeau.
That's not who I thought you were going to say was best available.
D end, that's a premium position, and if you're picking this high, you should be taking a premium position. They need to build through the trenches. They have another pick, I believe. They got one more pick in the first round. They can address the offensive pick. They could
they got pick number 12.
They could go for the offensive line there. They could get one of the top wide receivers there. But,
13.
D-end, premium position, if you're picking 3, that's the way I would go.
All right.
This is a kid that everybody thought could be the first pick in the draft before the end of the year. There were concerns about, does he love the game, things like that. He's immensely talented. He's young, redshirt sophomore. He's got a ton of talent. I thought this kid was going to have a little bit better year, but I think teams started to scheme towards him a little bit. I've never given too much credence to, he doesn't love the game thing. You don't have to love the game if you love money enough to perform well, because that's what a lot of these guys play for. A lot of these guys don't love the game anymore. They're playing because it can make them filthy fucking rich, and I'm good with that. So I don't just like this pick. The Texans need help fucking everywhere. So I'm good with Thibodeau.
Yeah, Thibodeau's not my guy in that position. I think if Ojabo hadn't gone down, he might have even been considered the number 2 defensive end in this class just because of the stuff that kind of dropped Thibodeau a little bit. But I like Thibodeau. I think he'll be a good NFL player. So I'm not against it.
Yeah, I don't hate it. It makes sense. The guy who at one point was thought to be the best player in the draft slides down to 3. You take him, probably.
Sure. All right. So, moving on, we have pick number 4, the Jets, and this is going to be taken by our own Mike.
Yeah, so I kind of set this draft up. I put everybody in the positions, and I definitely wanted to take the Jets pick just so I had one opportunity to bury fucking Zach Wilson because he's absolutely atrocious at football. They need a ton of help, and they need guys who can do things in space because Zach Wilson needs to get the ball quicker out of his hands because he constantly is, hitching, throwing late, throwing picks. So they need somebody who is dynamic in space, right? They need a receiver badly. Now, they did just make a signing, right? Oh, God, who did they just sign? I don't
know.
Receivers.
While you're looking that up.
Who did the Jets just sign? Is that what you're asking?
They just signed somebody. Ooh. All right, here comes my one shot of the day. It's not Chris Hogan. Maybe they didn't sign somebody. They were in on somebody that I don't think they got him, and then
they were trying to get Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I think that's what you're thinking of is Tyreek Hill.
Well, so I know they didn't get Tyreek. I thought they did just sign somebody, but either way, they need a ton of fucking help.
The last transaction that is on here for the Jets as of March 21st is kicker Greg Zuerlein. But I don't have anything other than re-signing Braxton Berrios back on March 9th.
They re-signed, and then Laken Tomlinson they signed. So, okay, so they need help at wide receiver badly. They need somebody who can separate. And the best wide receiver in this draft, and the guy who is best at separating, is Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson is going to be an absolute stud in the NFL. I have no doubts. And I get it. I'm an Ohio State guy. I'm a homer. Right? We talked about that earlier. If the Jets are really sold that Zach Wilson is their guy, they have got to get him help. And they're going to take a wide receiver in this spot. And for me, best wide receiver in the draft is Garrett Wilson. That's who they're going.
All right, Garrett Wilson it is. Look, I absolutely agree. They need help at wide receiver. It's still, you say he's going to be great in the NFL. It's a little scary when any good player goes to the Jets. They might just not become
That's
anything.
very true. Or they make it through 4 years and then they fucking get out of there, like a Jamal Adams or a May, their safety who just left. Because I thought about going safety there for them to replace May who left, but they need help on offense.
You don't think Garrett Wilson would still be there at 10 when the Jets pick again? You don't think they could wait on it?
I don't think so. There's so many wide receiver needy teams.
Who else would take? I guess the Falcons. Probably
the Falcons. I mean, they don't have anybody who can catch the fucking ball.
Kyle Pitts.
Their best wide receiver got suspended for gambling, and I'm pretty sure he didn't even hit the parlay.
Did they re-sign Cordell Patterson?
They did re-sign Cordell Patterson. However, he can't play quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and I guess they have a pretty good tight end in Pitts. But
yeah,
I think they will probably look to go receiver because they lost Gage. They lost what the hell's the kid's name that got suspended?
Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley. So I've been doing the same thing. My brain has not been working on names recently, man. I think that there's no way that Garrett Wilson is still there because we got some teams in here that are pretty notorious for doing dumb shit, like the team who's next on the clock.
Yeah. The Giants are the next on the clock, and I'm going to be taking this Giants pick. They are notorious for doing dumb stuff, but I think they've had one of the better off seasons this year. I like their GM hire. I like the head coach hire. The timeline for Danny Dimes is short because I don't think he's the answer. If anyone's going to get anything out of him, though, it's going to be Dable. But this team overall needs a lot of help. They need help all over the place. And for me, having this guy still on the board, if I'm them, I think that he's just this unicorn player. They need help all over the field, and you can't pass on what can be considered like a generational talent in a Kyle Hamilton. So I'm going to go ahead and take Kyle Hamilton for the New York Giants. They've got extra picks. They'll be able to fill some other needs here coming along. But for me, it's got to be Kyle Hamilton because, like I said, he does everything well. He does better than his combine results show. He's a special player. I don't think that they necessarily need a safety. I think that they have higher needs. But when you're in this big of a rebuild, just get stars on your team.
Best player available, yeah. No, I don't think he is the best defensive back in this draft. I've talked about it before.
Oh, Jesus.
Actually, I was on Spaces getting into arguments with other people in the Cleveland Spaces, talking about how I don't think Kyle Hamilton is the best defensive back in this draft between all defensive backs, corners, safeties. But I mean, he's good. He's very, very good at everything. I don't know if he's great at anything. But listen, I will take a jack of all trades, master of none, because a jack of all trades is better than a master of one. Like, give me a little bit of everything. I'm good with that. I love that, and this kid provides that. They have so many other needs. If they're going to keep Danny Dimes, I'd have probably gone offensive line.
And
it's really good.
Look, my thought process is that the Giants, they have a pick coming up here again at pick 7, right? You have Iquanu, you have Cross, you have Evan Neal, you have all these guys still on the board. One of those three is going to be there. You're still going to get a top-end tackle. But Kyle Hamilton, I don't know that he's lasting to their next pick. So go ahead, take him now. Take him now, and then get one of those linemen.
I don't know, man. The Panthers. Who's got the Panthers pick? Is that Goose?
Yeah.
I mean, the PFF is saying that they need a quarterback and O-line. He may have still been there, but if you see a guy like that, you probably go get him. Everybody thinks this kid is generational. I think he's going to be very good. He's not Ed Reed. He's not Troy Polamalu. He's not one of those guys, in my opinion. And I hope I'm fucking wrong. I hope he's spectacular.
I mean, I think he is going to be, like I said, he reminds me of this up-and-coming Harrison Smith type of safety. He can do everything. He's good in the run. He's good in the pass. He's that unicorn type of defensive player that you only see every so often. Now, positional value drops him a little bit usually, but again, he's special. So I feel good with taking this pick for the Giants, and that they can still go out there and get themselves a solid offensive lineman here in another couple picks.
All right. So are we ready to do this, Bro Chacho? You've been ready? All right. I got to do this so I can get it done early, like I said. So we'll do shot at tequila because that's all he fucking drinks. And if I don't take it, he'll stab me.
All right, let's see it.
I know. He told me he was bringing his knife.
Yeah.
He told me he was here.
Butt chug it.
All right. Cheers.
Mando.
All right, that's not bad.
Told you it wasn't bad.
What the fuck is in this? Is this a gelada? Oh. I'm starting to taste the fucking tomato. I'd have rather just taken I'd have snorted the salt over drinking chelada.
Alrighty, Goose.
Yeah, now I do know how Kamai. Listen, Kamai grabbed something that he doesn't know if it was his or not. That's his fault.
All right, Goose, you're back on the clock. Pick number 6 with the Carolina Panthers.
So I'm torn on this. Like you said, they need offensive line. They need quarterback. Sam Darnold's not the answer. But I don't know if the answer is, one of these guys remaining. I really liked Malik Willis for this pick, but Torres fucked that up. I think the smart thing for them to do would be to take one of those top 3 tackles and Neal, Ekwonu, and Cross. But Matt Rule's on the hot seat. Like you can't. I don't think you can roll out with Sam Darnold again. Matt Rule used to be head coach at my alma mater at Temple. He tried to recruit Kenny Pickett there.
Go Owls!
Back in the day. The thing Kenny Pickett's got going for him is he's accurate. He might have not the highest ceiling or potential, but he might be able to help stabilize them for the near term. So, I mean, I see them taking Kenny Pickett here potentially.
Does that mean that you are selecting Kenny Pickett, though?
Oh, I already clicked it.
I didn't click it.
Sure.
I did.
Kenny Pickett.
Sure.
Kenny Pickett. All right, here we go.
It's a generational talent time. Do you want to take Kenny Pickett? Sure.
Yeah, like I said, they got to do something at quarterback. And they think they tried to do it in free agency when trade and struck out. So, I mean, they did try to go for Mike's new quarterback. Yeah.
All right.
Very, very excited about that, by the way, if you guys can't tell.
Yep.
However, I think there's a very good chance he won't get suspended, but that's not what we're here for today.
All right. Thoughts on Kenny Pickett going to the Panthers?
I mean, they needed a quarterback. They really, really needed a quarterback. I think that Kenny Pickett is probably the best one on the board. I'm not a Sam Howell guy. I hate Matt Corral. I think that's a bust waiting to happen. Desmond Ridder, I do like his potential, but that's not a first-round pick. That's an early second. Maybe you trade up to the last pick of the first round to get a fifth-year option. But, man, he's the best one on the board. Carolina's warm, which is good. He won't have to worry about too many slick balls and those baby fucking hands he's got.
I don't know. It's humid. The balls might get hot.
That's true. But if he wears 2 gloves, that should help make it stick a little bit better.
Hopefully. All right. Well, with that, we can move on to our next pick. We have the New York Giants back on the clock, and for this one, Mike's going to be taking it.
Yeah, so with the Giants going safety earlier, they have got to go tackle here. I don't think there's any question about that. Now, the top three guys on PFF, we got Charles Cross, Ike Ekwonu, and Evan Neal. I think Ike Ekwonu is a guard. I don't know that he starts a tackle. If he does start a tackle, it's a right tackle. Charles Cross is very intriguing to me, but I think the guy that everybody saw as being the top tackle for a very, very long time is Evan Neal. He's still there. Alabama tackles are pretty consistent. He's so goddamn big. He's really good in the pass game. He's a pretty good fucking run blocker too. Like, he will down block with the best of them. And if they are not trading on Barkley, they need a guy who can move fucking bodies out of the way. I'm going to go with Evan Neal at pick number 7 for the Giants.
Alrighty. I don't have the sound queued up, but Evan Neal going to the Giants. And I think thank you, Torres. We already kind of talked about the Giants a little bit. They do need that offensive line help for this year to help with Danny Dimes, but going forward, they are going to probably make a change at quarterback here in the next year because Danny Dimes ain't the answer. You want to have it'll be better for them to have this offensive line there with a year under their belt, figuring their shit out, and then have that stable front for a new future quarterback, whoever they go after next year. So I like the pick, and yeah, I got no problems with it. Like I said, offensive line would have been the pick for me when I picked for the Giants earlier if Kyle Hamilton hadn't been on the board.
Kyle Hamilton was there for you.
Yeah. All right. So the next pick is the Atlanta Falcons. We actually didn't assign this one, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab it.
Yeah, go ahead, do it, man.
All right.
When I was putting this together, I apparently fucked that up. And
it's pretty easy to do that. So for the Falcons, as you can kind of see on our PFF board here, yeah, they need a quarterback. They're rough at that situation, but they have Mariota there. That can last them a year, and I don't think any of these guys are worth taking this high in the draft. But then you look after that, the guard, center, D-line, cornerback, they can go all over the place. But I think that your biggest bang impact long-term here is going with that offensive line. And like you said, Ekwonu, a little bit more of a guard. He's listed as a tackle, but he's got that scheme versatility. He can positional versatility. He can move around a little bit. And that's why I'm going to go with Ekwonu here, because he can fill any of those roles on the interior line.
There we go.
Fun
Thank you,
answer.
Ekwonu.
Got it.
So I fucking love this pick. This makes 100% sense. Like, I think he's a guard. I think he could kick out to tackle, right tackle. He's not a left tackle in the league. He's not fluid enough, in my opinion. He's a big boy, but he's not nearly fluid enough to play left tackle. But I mean, they have to start building that offensive line. They're going to be looking for a quarterback next year. Right now, we just talked about it with the last pick. Let's build that offensive line. Let's have that in place. When we bring a rookie in, we're not getting him fucking killed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Goose, what you got on that? You got anything? Any analysis there? Is that a beer?
You drinking beer?
No, it's water, bottled water.
Not bottled water. Brown bottled water.
Yeah, Falcons are rebuilding, and like I said before, I think the best way to rebuild is start in the trenches. So I like the pick.
All right.
Absolutely. All right, so I got the next pick again here. It is the Seattle Seahawks, and they've gone through a lot of turnover. They are also in that rebuilding mode, just like Goose kind of brought up. And I agree. The best way to rebuild is through the line. Now, they don't have a whole lot of anything else going for them. They absolutely could go for a quarterback, because and if Malik Willis was here, I think that he's the type of guy that they would go for. I think that Pete Carroll kind of could see maybe a little Russell Wilson in him, maybe, just because of the size comparisons. But even then, none of the quarterbacks available are worth taking this high. It's going to be an interesting season up there with Drew Lock. Maybe you end up seeing Colin Kaepernick end up getting signed there. I think that that is where Kaepernick should go, and just get that out of the way. We talked a lot about that last week. But for me, it is going to be, hey, we've got a lot of issues along our entire team. Let's start building through the trenches. Now, offensive line has always been kind of an issue there. They have generally a shitty offensive line. So it would be really, really easy for me to go, hey, Charles Cross is on the board here. But I think Pete Carroll, he likes a little bit more flash, a little bit more flair. So he's going to be looking towards the defensive line, specifically defensive interior line. All right?
Oh.
And he's going with Jordan Davis, the standout from the combine. Jordan Davis lit up that combine, and I think Pete Carroll likes that sort of speed on his defense. You know, he's a defensive coordinator at heart, and the measurables that Jordan Davis put on tape, along with how he just played at Georgia this last year, was really impressive. So I think that's where the Seattle Seahawks are going to go.
I want to say two things. One, fuck you. That's someone I was hoping that maybe fell to the Eagles at 15. And two, don't you think they really want to beef up that offensive line? Because they're going to have to lean pretty hard on the run game now that what's his name's gone.
Look, I don't know that they had much of a run game to begin with.
Yeah,
they don't have much of a pass game to begin with now. They've got Lockett, they have DK Metcalf, but there's all these, DK Metcalf trade rumors. I think Pete Carroll is going to go back to what he knows, defense. That defense
and running the ball. He wants to be a run-first guy. So
true.
Well, unless it's the Super Bowl and you're on the fucking 2-yard line and you have the greatest power back in the league right behind your star quarterback.
But I think he's going to try to build a strong defense that will keep the score low, and then hope that he can find a little bit of magic on that offense. He's looking back to when they had the Bobby Wagner, Richard Sherman, KJ Wright, all those guys on defense. He wants to build that back up. That's his safety blanket because he's in a situation that he hasn't been in a long time where his team is just completely decimated. I mean, you don't have Russ anymore.
Can you even remember those times? Isn't he like 85 years old now?
He is the oldest coach in the league.
Why is he even coaching?
Maybe second oldest.
No, I think he's the oldest.
78, something like that. It's him and Belichick that are the two oldest guys.
He's the oldest dude.
Yeah, he's old as dirt. And like Mike kind of alluded to, I don't know how long he's going to keep on coaching or how long they can keep him there because this team's going to have a rough year next year.
They're going to be fucking terrible. This might be the number one draft pick next year because none of these fucking kids they got can play quarterback. I mean, I understand that they have really good receivers in DK and Lockett, but Geno is awful. The kid from Denver, what the fuck is his name?
Drew Lock
cannot make a goddamn smart decision to save his life. They're going to be so bad, and they can't run the ball. They haven't been able to run the ball since Marshawn Lynch left.
Yeah,
well, Rashard Penny looked pretty good at the end of the season. Had a couple monster games, but maybe it was a fluke. Who knows?
I mean Rashard Penny's been in the league for a long, long time, and I think maybe what we're seeing is because I think it was a contract year. He's been in the league 4 years or 3-ish years. Like, I'm not sure that's the Rashawn Penny we're going to see all the time.
Pete Carroll, age 70, oldest active coach in the NFL.
70? Okay, 70. Jesus.
He's up
there. Same thing.
Yeah. All right, so Jets are back on the clock, and for this pick, we got Goose, who's going to be selecting. Where do you think you're going to go, Goose?
Again, another shitty team, needs a lot of things. The player that I like the most that's still on the board, though, is the sauce, Ahmad Gardner.
Yeah.
I think Derek Stingley Jr. Could potentially have the highest ceiling at cornerback, but he had those last 2 years were a little wishy-washy and dealt with some injuries. I think Ahmad Gardner's the most sure thing at cornerback, the most polished out of who's there between Stingley Jr. and Trent McDuffie. Another guy who I would like to see fall to the Eagles, so I know it's not going to happen. I think he's the best guy still on the board.
Yeah, I actually dislike this pick a lot because I was hoping that he would make it down towards my Vikings. Yeah. I was sitting there and kind of salivating. I was like, ooh, if my Vikings can get the sauce, like, I'd love that. But, obviously he's the best cornerback in this draft. Mike thinks he's the best defensive back in this draft, and there's a very strong argument towards that. Sucks to see him go to the Jets because, maybe he'll be Darrell.
And that's terrible.
He'll be Darrell Revis 2.0 for him, I guess. But he'll be there for 4 years and then fucking out, unless they put him on that 5th-year option. But still, sucks for the sauce. But good pick for the Jets. Very solid player, and I suppose that's a good pick for them, Goose. Fuckers.
This is a great pick.
Before I touch it, we're good.
Yeah, he's going with Ahmad Gardner. This is fantastic for the Jets. They need really good players. Yeah. This guy, in my opinion, might be the best player in the draft. I've been really high on this. I'm definitely on. He's the best defensive back. He may be the best defensive player in this draft. Period. Beating out those defensive ends he drafted earlier. He's so goddamn good. He is a long, lean, fast corner. This kid has been starter. Get the fuck out of here. He has been a starter for 4 years at Cincinnati. They were playing high-level football. They made the fucking playoffs this year. You know what this kid has never done? Given up a goddamn touchdown. In 4 years as a starter at a Division I college, he has never given up never responsible for a touchdown. You cannot ask for any better out of a corner. Like, well, you get maybe a first down, okay, fine. Like, this kid is so goddamn good. I want this kid on my team. I'm dumping whatever corners I got. I'm keeping Denzel Ward, but we can get rid of the guys that we have outside of that and fucking trade more picks, Cleveland. If you can find a way to draft the sauce, this kid's the best defensive player in the draft, in my opinion. He's so fucking good. I know people do not think so. I'm very, very high on him. Some people aren't. I don't understand why. But when you play that high-level football and you don't give up a touchdown in 4 years as a starter, that's fucking special.
Excuse me.
Nice. All right.
This so show, Goose. Figure it the fuck out.
All right. With the next pick, we've got the Washington Commanders, formerly the Washington Football Team, formerly the Washington Bleeps. And Mike is going to be selecting for the Washington Commanders. Who you got, Mike?
So this is really tough. We're starting to get into some areas where I don't want to be. I have to. I want to draft what I think is the smartest thing to do.
The best kicker available.
And not necessarily
punter.
Not what I think they're going to do, the best thing to do. So PFF says their needs are quarterback, guard, center, and linebacker. Okay. The quarterbacks left on the board, I don't like that fucking pick 11. Now, they may take one of these guys when the draft comes around because quarterbacks are always inflated. I'm not going to do that. I can't, in good conscience, draft Sam Howell, Desmond Ridder, or Matt Corral at fucking 11.
They have a former MVP candidate quarterback right now. They don't need a quarterback.
They need a quarterback. Carson Wentz is trash.
Yeah.
Okay, like, this guy is pissed off from a year ago that Carson Wentz was on their team. They gave up more picks to get another quarterback this year. That's how frustrated they were with Carson Wentz. Yeah. Carson Wentz is not the answer. Carson Wentz is not going to make it through the season.
I'm fearing for his life. Yeah, I'm fearing for his life on that field.
That offensive line is atrocious. Yes. That field is it fucking just reaches out and grabs people and will destroy your career.
Yep.
They got a good owner though.
Yeah, you can't say that.
They will once Jeff Bezos buys it, because there's another probe into the Washington football. The Commanders, the Washington Commanders. There we go. 3 names in 3 years.
Commanders. It's pronounced Commanders.
Yeah, Commanders. There's another probe into them lying about the profits that they're making and kind of holding out on some of the other owners, which is not going to go over well if that turns out to be true. Snyder will have to sell the team if that happens. They're in so much trouble, but I believe in their president of that organization, Campbell. He's a super smart guy. They're not going to overdraft a quarterback here. They're going to do what they should do. They're going to take the only guy, in my opinion, who is surefire number one outside of Sauce. There's an argument that Sauce and Hamilton are the best defensive backs. There is no argument about who the best offensive lineman in this draft. It's just tough to draft him here at this position at 11 because it's not a position of high value. They need a center, though. The best lineman in this draft, without question, is Tyler Linderbaum. There is no doubt in my mind this guy's Pro Bowl for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
This kid is so good.
And this is your selection, Mike?
I'm going Linderbaum at 11. It's a
All
little
right.
high. It's high, but they need it.
So I like Linderbaum a lot. I think he can go anywhere here in the first round. It's tough because of the positional value, right?
Right.
So positional value on a center, relatively low. Normally you can get interior offensive linemen, second, third, fourth, fifth round, and make them work. And we've seen this in previous years. It can be kind of scary taking a center in the first round because, I mean, you look at my Vikings and our center we took as a later first round guy, and he's been absolute garbage. Meanwhile, other guys throughout that same draft performed out in the third and fourth round as starters and are pretty solid. Tyler Linderbaum, I don't think is going to be that guy. I think he's going to be an outstanding offensive lineman. The only knocks on him are that he's got shorter arms than you would like. But he's
good with that.
He's extreme, yeah, and it limits him. He probably only can play center. He can't really shift to guard or stuff like that because of that arm length. But he's fucking phenomenal. Phenomenal interior offensive lineman. Taking him at 11, a little rich for my blood.
High. I know it's tough. It's a little high.
Yeah, but he'll be solid for the Washington Commanders.
If Carson Wentz is going to make it through the year, they have got to draft guys that can fucking block.
He's not.
Yeah, it's a little scary. Watching Carson Wentz go out on that field that has claimed so many other bodies, it's a little scary.
Yeah, it's not great.
All right. Well, I guess that brings it back to me with my Minnesota Vikings, pick number 12. All right.
This is tough because the things that you need are not really there except for one. Guy
There
that's
is-
kind of tumbling down the draft board, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm actually probably going to surprise people here with this one.
Okay.
Do it.
All
Here we
right.
go.
I am going to go with a cornerback.
Okay.
Oh,
And
no,
I'm-
you're not going to do that. I know what you're about to do. I cannot believe you're about to do this.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Do it.
I don't know. Because we got this list here, and we've got, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Okay,
7.
you're not doing what I think you're
Yeah,
doing.
we got a bunch of guys listed. It ain't even a guy listed in here. And I completely disagree with PFF. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm taking Derek Stingley
Okay,
Jr.
I knew it.
All right.
It's like you're not about to leave him there.
Yeah, I'm taking Derek Stingley, baby. Look, awesome cornerback. He did have injuries. He had down years. He didn't play with the COVID year stuff. There's a lot of reasons why you can knock him down, but he's definitely got that boomer bust potential. It is the biggest weak point on our team is cornerback. All right. We got to go defensive back here. If Sauce was there, I would have loved to have taken Sauce, but it's just not not in the cards, I guess, for us to get that Sauce on the team. The other option that I was looking at is actually a kid out of Washington, and it ain't McDuffie. All right,
McDuffie?
It ain't McDuffie. I think Kyler Gordon is way too low on the board here. Kyler Gordon, I think, is probably the next best cornerback behind Trent McDuffie. However, McDuffie's he is your slot
Purely a
cornerback.
slot.
Yeah.
Purely a slot.
And while we could absolutely use a slot cornerback, we could use cornerbacks all over the place. I'm not wanting to take him up at 12. If Stingley's there, I think you got to go with it. I would think about interior defensive line or edge defenders, even though we got two good guys there in Danielle Hunter and our recent acquisition from the Packers. But you got to go cornerback. It's the weakest part of the team right now. So Stingley, I feel comfortable with him going there. We've had some good hits with LSU guys recently. Thanks, Justin Jefferson. Fuck you, Eagles. So I'm all about it.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm very sad that you took him there because that's where I was gonna go next. And it was the only reason I brought this bad boy out was to draft Garrett Stingley because
All right.
I was going straight into full on Garth Brooks mode.
Oh, shit.
I was going down to Baton Rouge, baby.
All right. Well, you do have the next pick here with the Texans, Mike. Who are you thinking for the Texans? And it's funny because it's listed as needs every position.
Everything. Every position is a need, and they do need help at every position. At this point, I mean, there's some decent guys on the board, but there's one that stands out. And listen, boys, this is the Lineman Lounge. I'm going again. I'm going after a lineman again. Charles Cross is still on the board, and you've got to take him here. Yeah. He's fallen all the way down to 13. I don't know that this happens in real life. I think that the linemen are going to go fairly quick. It's going to be a lot of offensive and defensive linemen. And, yeah, they need help. They're going to roll with Mills at quarterback. They need to find a way to protect him. Cross is fantastic. That's where they're going. That's who I'm taking.
All right.
Final answer?
Yeah. Oh, it's already locked in, baby. It's already locked in. Look, you got to go with Cross. They, like I said, you need everything. Cross, I could see him dropping this far, depending on just what the other teams want to do. I could see Cross going anywhere from 16 up. He's a very, very good offensive lineman. Anyone could use a good tackle. So for him to be available there at 13, solid get for the Texans. Earlier they got Thibodeau, so they're building across their lines. It's a smart way to go. I'm not sure the Texans are that smart to do that, but by all means, Cross, good selection here for the Texans, good fit.
All right, cool.
All right, next up, we got me again with the Ravens. All right, so Ravens, defensive line, cornerback are listed as their needs. I definitely think that they do need help at that defensive back. I don't know if I'm willing to take McDuffie here. I mean, I could see him being a bit of a fit. They had a lot of issues at defensive back last year due to injury. So hopefully that gets fixed a little bit. But I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit of Trayvon Walker action here. All right.
Yeah.
I like Karlaftis. I would think about him, but I'm going Trayvon Walker, another Georgia defensive lineman. He can play edge. He can play interior. Trayvon Walker, awesome player. And like that Ravens, they always are stacked with their defensive front. So he fits right into that mix.
Yeah, I like Trayvon. He's going to – go ahead, Goose.
One thing about those Georgia D-line guys, they were pretty stacked, right? So a lot of those guys might be better than their stats suggested just because they were so deep at D-line. They were rotating through so much. So I think his ceiling might be higher than a lot of people think.
I always like O-line drafts. It completely changed our team when we actually invested in our O-line, same way the Cowboys did. I'm good with it.
Did you want an O-lineman to be drafted? Because this was a defensive lineman.
He's on the D-line, you idiot.
Yeah, he's talking about defensive line.
Torres had a shot of tequila, and now he's just getting positions all flippy-floppy. You know what? We need to let him draft another person here to see.
You bitch.
Actually, no. I feel like that's a great idea. I will give up one of my draft picks to allow him to do another pick. But I also just got a text across the table.
That's why I was
Torres
listening.
Torres is ready to do a shotgun, so I feel like we're gonna have to knock one of those out real quick.
All right, that'll give Goose some time to think about how Howie Roseman's going to fuck this up.
Yeah. Are you drafting as Howie Roseman, or are you drafting as somebody with a brain?
I'm going to draft as Goose.
Okay.
All right,
So,
you can't pick a bowl of vanilla pudding then.
Yeah.
Actually, oh my god, that sounds so weird.
Are we getting ready for the shotgun?
I'll grab you. Goose, go ahead and do your thing, man.
Okay. Trent McDuffie is not who we need. We have actually pretty good slot corner already. We do need someone opposite of Darius Slay. So we need someone on the outside. So the two guys I'm looking at are, well, three guys I'm looking at. George Karlaftis. How do you say his name?
George Karlaftis, the Greek freak.
Karlaftis. So we really need another rusher. Brandon Graham is getting older. Fletcher Cox might not be around much longer. We did get Hassan Reddick I'm excited about, but we need better pass rushing. Drake London's really enticing. The wide receiver we got, Devonta Smith, is a smaller guy. Drake London's a bigger guy. We could really use
Jalen Reagor, though.
Jalen Reagor shouldn't be on our team.
Or any team.
We got Quez Watkins and Devonta Smith, two smaller, speedy guys. We really could use another big body for the red zone. So Drake London's very tempting. And then the other thing that's tempting is Devin Lloyd, who no way in hell are the Eagles going to pick. They never addressed linebacker early in the draft. They just not a position they address, and they don't value the position for better or for worse. I mean, we need a linebacker, but they're not going to take one. But
Okay.
I think there's a couple good wide receivers still on the board.
There's
So-
a lot of good wide
You've
receivers
got
out
a
there.
lot of good wide receivers out there. Yeah, this is another one of the things that I don't agree with PFF. I don't think Drake London is the next best wide receiver on the board, and they got Jameson Williams right after him. Jameson Williams,
Yeah.
we're maybe not going to see him till the end of this year, if at all. But Olave, Burks, you got other guys out there that are still
I
solid
love
options.
Sky Moore. I fucking love Sky Moore, but first round's a little too high in my opinion.
Probably,
I really like
especially at this point.
Devontae Wyatt too. I really like. Like I said, Fletcher Cox his play's kind of been falling off and might not be around much longer.
Devontae
But-
Wyatt, that interior defensive lineman from
take-
Georgia.
Yeah,
We'll
but
take 'em.
We're picking again at 18, so I'm going to go with the best pure pass rusher out of this group and take that George Karlaftis. We really need someone opposite Brandon Graham, and yeah, that's what we need, pass rushing.
All right,
Got him.
George Karlaftis it is, the Greek freak. All right, thoughts on Karlaftis pick, Mike?
I like Karlaftis. He's not uber athletic. That's okay. He's smart. He's always in position. He's gonna be okay there. This is about where I see him going. Maybe even a little lower. But I agree with Goose. The Eagles need something to help out their secondary because their defensive backs struggle. Good pass rush will help that secondary out. If there's not a corner there to go out, or anybody in the secondary to help this team, I think you help by generating more pass rush.
See, I like Karlaftis a lot. I think he's more of a 3-4 end or edge defender, and I don't know that he is quite the pure pass rusher like Goose said. I think he's an all-around good defensive end. If you're going straight for pass rush, I'm thinking more of like the Jermaine Johnson route, or I might even take a flyer on Ojabo, knowing that you got those 2 first-round picks and that Ojabo is probably going to come back later this year, but really start to see him next year. So he's one of those
That's why you win.
get ready for the future type of picks in Ojabo. But I like Karlaftis. I think that he'll be a good defensive end there for the Eagles. Definitely not a Howie Roseman pick because he picked a guy that is going to be solid going forward.
Yeah, Howie Roseman's going to fuck this up for sure. I have no doubts about that, but.
All right. And is it shotgun time? Is it Sexy Torres shotgun time?
It is. I did not spray anywhere near as bad as I normally do.
Now I know why he wins all the time. Like half the
Trust
beer
me,
is on the floor.
The fuck it is. And I
All
promise
right, boys.
you it won't make a difference.
We'll do a little countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, the sucking power.
Half your beer's on the floor.
Open your throat.
You got to have
No.
little bird lips.
Torres, what jersey are you wearing there? Is that a Phillip Rivers?
No, actually, it's one of my. I think it was a very underrated receiver. It's Austin Collie. Very short career. Unfortunate. I think he would have done really well if he wasn't riddled with so many. Oh my God! It's not concussions. There you go.
Didn't Reggie Wayne just come back as a wide receiver coach?
I believe so. Yeah, for the Colts.
Alrighty. I mean, Austin Collie had a short career. I liked him as a receiver, but didn't amount to a ton. But it's all right.
Yeah,
but hey,
actually,
I like Minnesota Twins. I had a Denard Span jersey. Denard Span didn't play with us for very much, but he was one of my favorite players, and he wasn't like the star of the team or anything like that. I'm all about getting those more lesser known guys that you kind of had that connection to. So that's cool that you got that jersey going for you. It's too bad you didn't get a Wentz jersey. That'd be pretty cool for you to be wearing that.
Producer Amber did the same thing when she got her baseball jersey. She went with a lesser known guy. She's rocking a Lonnie Chisenhall jersey.
nice.
Does anybody know who the fuck that is besides me?
Nope.
Producer
Yeah.
Amber?
I know who that is.
Do you?
No.
Okay. Yeah. I appreciate the out of left field jersey. I think I'm going to stop getting jerseys of people who still play.
Yes.
Exclusively go to retired guys. Joe Thomas. That type for me.
Dude,
Alrighty.
Colts Pro Shop online had Andrew Luck jerseys for like $10, I think. So I bought 3.
Smart.
So I bought 3.
Yeah, I was like, because what am I gonna do? I was like, I can get Darius Leonard maybe, and that dude's gonna stay there for a while. But after that, I was like, what am I gonna get? Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan.
You're gonna get your stud running back.
Taylor.
I already have that one.
Okay.
All right. Well, next up is Mike again with the Saints. But Mike, do you want to pass this one off?
I will pass this one off. We're going to go ahead and allow Sexy Torres to go ahead and knock out this pick for the New Orleans Saints.
Okay. As I stated earlier, I like offensive lines, and I'm gonna go with Raymond. They need a tackle. I'm gonna go with the tackle from Central Michigan.
Everybody loves Raymond.
I hate you so much. Who invited us?
All right. We like the energy that Goose brings. He's electric usually, so it's nice to have him around. But so your pick is going to be Bernard Raymond out of Central Michigan? Final?
That's my pick. Final.
All right. Pick is in.
I got a
Evo,
question
you wanna
for Mike and Evo. So
Okay.
this is the pick the Saints traded for from the Eagles. Is this what you think they traded for? Was an offensive line? What do you think they were after when they traded for this pick?
I don't know that they had a position in mind because it's kind of tough when you're picking in the. If they were getting one of those high draft picks, then you can really have a target set. Otherwise, I think that right now they just know that they are a rough team. They have a lot of things to work on, so they're just going to go for get as many good players as we can. I wouldn't say Bernard Raymond is necessarily their target, but I think he's a solid lineman.
Do you think they have a rough team because they actually beat some good teams? They had some good stretches, and I think if you think you're a rough team, you build for the future. You amass more draft capital. They gave up draft capital to get 2 first rounds this year. I would think that means they think they're a competitor now, and they want to get more plug-and-play players for this year because they're going to compete this year,
I think this is a way for them to get another pick to possibly put in a package to go get a quarterback.
Who are you going to trade up for? Malik Willis?
Willis. That's the only guy in this draft that you trade up for. But at this point, I don't think Malik is going to go where he was drafted in our draft. I think he falls possibly down to 6 and gets picked, right? Where we had Kenny Pickett. He could go at 11, where I took Tyler Linderbaum, if he's still there, to the Commanders, who are definitely going to need a quarterback. And then from there, those are the only two teams I'm certain are looking to take a quarterback. Unless, we're talking about the Lions, but I think they'll do that later in the draft. So we're looking at
but if
6,
they were gonna...
looking at 11, and then 16. I think if they can stay there at 16, or maybe package a 16 and a 2 and maybe a 3 next year, they move up to go get a Malik Willis.
You don't think they were going to move up that far, though? They wouldn't have just done it in one move instead of giving up a bunch of capital just to get this extra pick and then making
I'm not sure.
Move?
I think this is probably what they could find value-wise to get that extra first-round pick instead of moving up from 19. I think they have multiple needs on the offensive side of the ball. This allows them to possibly address multiple issues. That defense is fantastic, but this allows them to address multiple issues on the offensive side of the ball, whether it be quarterback, receiver, tackle, any one of those positions.
Okay.
Yeah, as far as the Bernard Raymond pick, I like him. I like Trevor Penning a little bit better. I like that kind of nastiness that he brings. It could be. Definitely could be. So I think Raymond is a safe pick. And I think that, they could package those picks up to move up if Malik Willis starts to fall towards the 8, 9, 10 range. But also, I think that they can sit pat. They can take a quarterback at pick 19 that they have coming up here if they aren't dead set on Malik Willis. Now, they're not going to be getting necessarily one of the best guys, but there isn't really a great option in this draft in the first round. You just need to start throwing darts to see if you can hit on one of them. And they could get that at 19. I could see them taking that quarterback here at 16 as well. Okay, well, Goose just said bye. I guess he doesn't like the answer anymore. So I'm fine with this pick. I think, obviously, line is a need for them. They need to build all over the place. Now we're back.
He sent me a text. I'm pretty sure that's what kicked him out.
Oh, silly boy. But with that, we're on to pick 17. Yes, pick 17 here with the Chargers. And that's going to be me. And, oh boy, we got wide receiver, tackle, and cornerback is all needs for the Chargers.
Do they need a wide receiver?
It says that they need a wide receiver. I think that
they do.
Yeah, I don't.
I heard they were trying to train Keenan Allen because they just paid what's his name, Mike Williams.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that they have Keenan Allen, they have Mike Williams. A third receiver would be great for their young quarterback, but you gotta look at where they're playing in the AFC right now. It is a tough division to be playing in, and with all of the good quarterbacks out there, all the wide receiver talent,
all the fantastic edge rushers in that division now.
Yeah, you need to protect your quarterback, and B, you need to be able to stop all that passing offense. And I would like to take Penning here. That's who I want to go with. But I'm not taking him. I'm not taking him. All right. I'm going to go with Trent McDuffie. I think that he's the best available defensive back right now. And that was really what killed them in the playoffs. Or what we call the playoffs. Look, they didn't make it because they couldn't stop the pass. So I'm going with Trent McDuffie. I think that he's the best option for them right now. Like I said, Penning I think is a strong option, but I'm going with cornerback because I feel that that's their biggest weakness right now.
I like Trent, but he's purely a slot corner, and that's really high to draft a slot corner. But they need help there. I mean, receiver is an option, But this receiver class is stacked. They can get a guy middle of the second who's going to be very effective for that team. There's just not a. If they don't go tackle here, I think receiver might be the option. But I like Trent. It's tough for me to draft a purely slot corner that high.
It is, and they have some cornerbacks on that team. That's why I think that they can work in a Trent McDuffie. You have so much offensive firepower that they're going to be going up against that you need as many cornerbacks and solid cornerbacks on the field as you can. Because I think all those teams out there in the AFC think that they have a chance to make a deep run into the playoffs. And you have to start selecting positionally towards the opponents that you're going to be seeing the most. And you just have too much passing offense to not start looking towards defending against that. So McDuffie is who I'm going to go with here. Even though Penning, like I said, is a strong option, but I'm going with McDuffie.
All right.
All right, and that brings us to Goose again, another Eagles pick here.
Eagles pick.
And I know that you said they're not going to address linebacker because they just never do, but you're the GM right now. You're not Roseman.
Yeah, if
Kicker.
If this happened in real life and Devin Lloyd fell right here,
and you got Nakobe Dean out there as well.
There's a lot of good players left as I'm looking here. I really like I said, Devonta Wyatt, Devin Lloyd. We already addressed the D-line, though, so I don't think it would be smart to go again with, like, Jermaine Johnson. I like David Ojabu, like you said. A lot of players still.
That would be a very Howie Roseman thing to do, though. Let's go get two edge defenders.
Yeah. And one of them is not going to play this year.
I think Ojabo could play. I mean, we saw, the Rams running back come from an Achilles towards the end of the year.
God, but that's such a tough injury. That one
really
scares me way more than an ACL. Like, ACLs, those are simple now. Those are 6 months, you're good.
So
Achilles is still tough.
If they already addressed the D-line a little bit, I mean, an interior would be tempting still, like Devonta Wyatt. I wouldn't take another end, but I don't know. We have a lot more positions in need. We really need a cornerback, like I said, and we really need a wide receiver. So I'm looking at either Andrew Booth Jr. is tempting at cornerback. If we're going to run a year out again with Jalen Hurts, they need to know if he's the guy. So I think you got to give him a weapon here, opposite Devonta Smith. I'm going to go Traylon Burks. A little bit different profile than Devonta Smith.
Yeah, that's
bigger body. Like I said, we need to find out if Jalen Hurts the guy. So give him another weapon.
All right. Traylon Burks to the Eagles. Another Eagles failure at wide receiver. Look,
is Drake London still there?
Yeah.
He sure was.
It's
Drake
too late.
London. They go with Drake London.
No,
The Cards-
we already drafted Traylon Burks. You're going to have to trade for him later.
Damn it.
The card's already in.
I was like, all right.
That is a Howie Roseman move, though. Wait, that guy's still on the board? No. Let me back it up, flip it, and reverse it.
All right, Eva, do you want to go ahead and give your take on Traylon, and then I'll go?
Yeah, sure. Look, I like Traylon Burks. I think that he's a fringe first-round guy. He is more of that big body receiver, which is something that the Eagles need. They don't really have to go opposite of the smaller guys that they have currently. Look, for what it's worth, I don't like Drake London. I put Traylon Burks and Drake London as kind of in the same tier. I know Drake London's probably going to go in the first round. I think Drake London's upside is more of a Michael Thomas from the Saints. So I do like him a little bit better. I would have just pulled the trigger on one of those linebackers if you really wanted him at this point. Because in the middle of the first round, that's kind of the sweet spot for where you can see some of those top linebackers going off the board. And I wouldn't have been scared to go defensive line as well if you really wanted to go with the Devonta Wyatt and the interior. Traylon Burks, though, he is going to be that big body receiver target. He'll be good for the red zone. So if you can find someone to give him the ball, if you think Hurts is going to be the guy to be able to do that, then go get the guy that you want. If that's Treylon Burks, go for it.
So I'm not a big Treylon Burks guy. Anybody who's making the comparison that he could be the next Deebo Samuel doesn't understand what Deebo is and what Deebo does, because Treylon is not even remotely the same. Treylon is more, in my mind, of he's going to be a gadget guy. I don't think he goes out there and wins one-on-ones as consistently as Deebo will go out and win a one-on-one matchup. He's more of a Cordero Patterson. Like, you had to find the right place, the right niche for him. So I'm not going to have him that high. There's some other receivers out here that I absolutely would take over Treylon Burks. I think he will be a first-rounder because I think people saw some of the things he did at Arkansas. But I feel like he's going to be overvalued. People think, oh, we got this guy, he can do all these different things. He absolutely has to go to 100% the right situation where he can go to a place that's really multiple. Maybe Philly is that because of the weird kind of offense they're going to run with the running quarterback. I don't love Treylon Burks. I think he is a little higher up on a lot of people's draft boards than he is on mine.
Yeah. And then, look, I don't think Chris Olave is a fit necessarily for the Eagles because of the small receivers. It's just blowing me away that he's still out there, because I think that he's the best receiver still left on the board.
Yeah, he won't be there.
Barring Jamison Williams having the injury. But, Olave has been mocked to go later in the first round because of his size and skill set. But
he's
I still
a guy
think
that's really similar to Devontae Smith already, right?
No. Chris Olave is a bigger guy, 6'1", 187. So that, you're not worried about too much of the size. Garrett Wilson is a guy who's a little smaller, 5'10".
Devontae Smith's not short. He's like 6 or 6'1". He's just a.
So Garrett Wilson's
he's just a toothpick.
183.
Devonta Smith is just a toothpick.
Yeah, how big is Devonta? Is he 5'11"? 6 foot?
No,
somewhere in
I
that
think
range.
He's at least 6 foot.
Okay.
Let's find out.
He just weighs like 145.
Yeah, soaking wet.
Yeah.
He's
like the average human knee, I believe the average human knee only needs like 16 pounds of pressure on its side to snap, and he's not the average human being. I think that you could probably have a heavy fart towards the side of his knee and snap it in half the way his legs look. But so Treylon Burks, I think, could work. He's higher on my board. He's higher on your guys' boards, I think, than he is on mine. I have him fringe first round at best. Actually, I didn't think he was going until somewhere around 28 with the Packers. Or maybe 29, 30 with the Chiefs sitting there.
Yeah.
All right.
You idiot.
You ignorant bitch. All right. So next we have pick number 19, the Saints again. Mike, you're up. Last time you had the Saints pick. This was Torres selected for you.
I traded it to Torres for the last time. But this time I'm going to make this pick. And we just talked about the guy I'm going to take. They already have issues with their wide receiver out of Ohio State, who's not very happy. Has tried to get traded. His deal's been restructured. We're not ever sure what's going on with that situation. So they're going to take a guy to replace him. Another guy from Ohio State that we were just talking about. They're going to go Chris Olave here to the Saints. I think it makes sense for the team. They need more weapons. Jameis is not the guy, but you're not going to go and take a quarterback here. If you don't trade up for a quarterback, I don't know that they're going to get one. They're going to try to address probably the wide receiver room here because there's a very strong possibility they're not going to have anybody if Michael Thomas decides he's going to try to force his way out.
All right. I think that they got bigger needs than wide receiver there with the Saints, but by all means, this makes sense. They're going to try to give weapons to Jameis Winston, and you're kind of hedging your bets towards Michael Thomas pushing his way out. So getting another receiving option, more offense out there is going to be good for them. You don't know what's going to happen with Kamara, so you need options to spread that ball around in the offense. So, look, Olave, I think that he's a very, very good receiver. Like I said, I'm surprised that he's still available at this point. Yeah, I'm all on board for the Saints going out there and grabbing their wide receiver.
All right, cool. Anybody else got anything, or are we ready to move on to the next pick? Good? All right, so we're going to move on to that next pick. Pick number 20. We're going to have Evo selecting for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm excited to see where this goes because all the positions that they need are basically everybody that they want is going to be caught.
Yeah, I do think that there is one guy out there, though, that they do need. They need a tackle. I'm not going quarterback here because I think that they're going to be fine with Mitch Trubisky this year. Like I even was saying, what did I say? You'll be a top 15 quarterback, I think, this year.
Nah,
I might have said that. I might have said that last year. Yeah, bold take there. So I don't think they're going to go quarterback, at least not this early. But they do need to provide some offensive line help. And Trevor Penning is that mean, aggressive offensive lineman that kind of fits with what the Steelers like to have. They like to have that mean, gritty team. So Trevor Penning is going to be my pick here for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, Trevor Penning. And this is, in my opinion, this is fantastic as a Browns fan. Trevor Penning's a walking hold, and I cannot wait to watch Myles Garrett just absolutely fucking murder this kid who has no technique. So they need to tackle. All the really good ones are gone. I'm not big on Trevor Penning. I like the aggressive style. I just don't love the complete lack of technique and walking penalty. Like that's what I see this kid as.
You know what? I like his physical traits, and like you said, I like that mean, aggressive streak and some of the technique stuff. I would like to hope that, they've done well with developing offensive linemen. He's going to be going up in practice every day against like TJ Watt and stuff. You can develop this guy, you can develop his technique, and if you've already got that high motor and some of the physical attributes, I think you could possibly get something out of him. So they're going to go with the mean dude and Trevor Penning. Like you see all that footage coming out of the Senior Bowl and stuff of him just demolishing guys. If you've got that in you and you're able to go up against some of the more top talent at the Senior Bowl in college, hopefully that can transition into the NFL and provides them some offensive line stability.
Well, if this happens and he throws TJ Watt on the ground like that, he's going to get fucking cut.
Oh, he ain't going to get cut. I mean, he might get cut by one of the players with a knife. Torres is going to go up there and let him borrow it for a second, but
where'd it go?
Oh no.
There it is. Oh, naked for a second.
Yeah. But like, that's one of those things. Like, it's great, but this kid's gonna have to learn how to practice in the NFL as well. That's a real thing. Like learning how to practice.
For all we know, maybe this was that aggressiveness was at the Senior Bowl, and him knowing all the scouts are there, and he's coming from Northern Iowa, where you're not having a whole lot of scoutage happening, and maybe he's a better teammate in practice.
Maybe. I hope so, for his sake.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we got the Patriots selecting pick 21, and this is going to be taken by our boy Goose over here.
Makes too much sense. Belichick loves his linebackers. He likes to move them all around. You get the best linebacker available in Devin Lloyd, someone that can, play all over the field. Devin Lloyd.
All right, Devin Lloyd going to the Patriots.
The fact that Devin Lloyd is still there for them, it makes entirely too much sense.
Yep.
It's weird how this keeps on happening. Last year, the quarterback that we all thought could be, Tom Brady light, just falls into their lap. You get old grumbly Bill just sitting there. All right, we'll take it. It works out. Hey, Devin Lloyd makes a lot of sense for them.
It absolutely does. They cut Kyle Van Noy again, right? Gone off that team again?
Yeah, he's back on the Dolphins now. No?
I don't know who he's with, but I do think that you're right about him not being on the Patriots anymore.
So he went back to the Patriots after being with the Dolphins, but I think they have released him again, back out on the market.
Still says he's a free agent.
Yeah, so I think he got him back, and then they released him again. So Kyle Van Noy's back on the market. This guy is going to slide right in perfectly to that Kyle Van Noy spot, and this always fucking happens for the Patriots. get lucky and somebody like this falls to them, and Bill does the smart thing, which a lot of teams don't do, and they just go, hey, this guy's really good, and here's a card. Like, everybody tries to outsmart the draft, and Bill just, lets the draft come to him, and it constantly fucking works out unless they're drafting receivers.
Yep. All right, so next we got the Green Bay Packers, pick 22. Mike's going to be taking this one. He would not allow me to draft for the Packers because, unfortunately, I would draft accurately for them and not go towards any sort of offensive weapons unless it's a menial offensive weapon for the Packers. They like to draft, tight ends.
You'd have been drafting a punter
don't do anything.
Because they lost the forecast.
I see them taking quarterback here.
Go for it.
Quarterback's an option, but I am going to draft what I think the Packers will do. I think they're going to do something stupid. I think that this will finally be the year that they address wide receiver in the first round. They need a guy who can catch the ball because they just traded away their best weapon in Devontae Adams. But what they're going to do is draft a guy who's not going to fucking play this year. And
ACL.
This is right in their wheelhouse. All right, Aaron, you guys need a receiver? We'll get you one. By the way, he's not playing this year, and then next year when you bitch about your contract or retire, it won't matter. Packers are drafting Jameson Williams because it won't help their team at all this year.
I saw you hover over it. I was like, give me wood.
Yeah.
Look, honestly, if they're drafting a receiver, I feel like they would do something like this. They're going to be like, oh, we're going to take this guy who is uber talented and very good, but, we're just going to let him sit. They don't make smart moves in the draft. They really don't. It's a pretty consistent thing from the Packers and from Gutekunst. They're going to say, hey, Aaron, we got you what you wanted. You wanted a receiver, and it's a bench warmer. Now, I do think he will play this year. Like Goose brought up, it's ACL, it's a knee issue. He'll be able to work through that. Will he be 100%? Probably not. Will he be out on the field for the first half of the year? Probably not. So the Packers absolutely need wide receiver. And going out and getting one is the smart play here if you're the Packers GM. I think that he's the best guy on the board at receiver, but you're just not getting to play him this year. So because the Packers have multiple first-round picks now, they can go out and get this receiver and stash him away, but it doesn't help you because they're in a win-now mode, or they think that they are by bringing Aaron Rodgers back, but they've gutted their receiving talent. They've fucked up their defense. Yeah. So it's an interesting situation that they put themselves in. It's one that I love, and this pick is another one that I absolutely love.
Yeah, I figured you would like this. I was not going to let you do it because I figured you were going to do something crazy, but in good conscience, I couldn't do
this would have been my pick. This would have been my pick because it just fits with what they like to do.
Yeah, I agree. I had to do it because that's what I think they're going to do. That's probably not what I would have done, but I was decided to be Gutekunst for just a second and really fuck this up for Aaron Rodgers. Instead of taking Drake London, who they should have taken right there.
Yep. All right, so I'm up next, and I'm picking for our Arizona Cardinals. So for all the Cardinals fans that might end up watching or are watching right now, I know this is going to be important to you guys. And for me, this is a super easy slam dunk pick. I'm going with Devontae Wyatt. He's arguably the best interior defensive lineman in the draft. I know that earlier I selected his teammate, Jordan Davis, to go to the Seahawks. Jordan Davis put up an incredible combine, but Devontae Wyatt's always kind of been seen as the better of the two of them. And I think that Devontae Wyatt is an outstanding interior defensive lineman. I almost pulled a Torres there. And I'm all about it. So that is solid going forward for your interior defensive line, getting Devontae Wyatt. And it's a position of need for him, so it's a perfect pick.
Yeah, I agree. Cardinals fans would fucking love this. Spicy Mike would be all over this. Peterson would love this too.
Devontae Wyatt could be going as high as a top 10 pick, easily.
Right.
So to get him back at pick 23, yeah, you're running the ticket in for this one.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt in my mind that they're incredibly excited about this.
Absolutely. All right. So next, we got Goose back on the board. Going to be pick their number 24 for the Cowboys. And this is going to be tough, Goose, because I know that you're a big Cowboys fan in addition to being a Philadelphia Shithawks fan.
Yeah. So with the 24th pick in the NFL draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Ryan Stonehouse, punter, Colorado State. Ryan Stonehouse is. I'm just joking.
That's
who I want them to take.
And you know,
Matt, the fucking
Ariza.
God.
And you know why he didn't say Matt Ariza? Because he can't pronounce his name. So racist.
I didn't even want them to get the top punter because fuck them.
I fucked. I should have moved Goose off of this pick.
Nakobe Dean. They got Micah Parsons, who was already a linebacker, but he's doing a lot of rushing the passer. You get Nakobe Dean, and that would be great to pair with Micah Parsons. But fuck him.
So is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
All right, Nakobe Dean being selected. And actually, I've talked to some Cowboys fans. They actually like Nakobe Dean. They're hoping that he falls to them here. I think that's a good selection for them. I could see them going wide receiver too because, there's some worry there amongst Cowboy fans that they don't have 5 top-tier wide receivers anymore. Amari's not there.
What injury did Gallup get?
It was ACL as well.
Was it?
So, yeah. So, I mean, he'll probably be back. Maybe not 100%. Maybe not for the full season. So I could see them going for a Drake London or another one of those top wide receivers. But I think Nakobe Dean fits very well with what they're wanting to do there, so that makes a lot of sense. I could also see a Jermaine Johnson going there, though. A little rush off the edge.
They did miss out on some edge rusher that said they were signing and it didn't, and Gregory. So I could see edge happening there. I mean, Nakobe Dean, I think, would fit perfectly. Gives them 2 really good linebackers that can kind of they can maneuver around the field and do different things.
Vanden Bosch, or is it
Van Der Esch?
Van Der Esch, yeah. Van Der Esch, he's there for another year. I believe that they did a 5-year option on him.
He's going to get another
but doesn't he get
contract.
hurt every game?
He's got neck issues and stuff like that, which are really tough for linebackers. I think that, unfortunately, I like him, but he's going to have one of those short careers. So getting another linebacker in here, like a Nakobe Dean, who arguably could be considered better than Devin Lloyd by some people, playing on that Georgia defense, it's a solid pick there for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I agree. I'm totally good with that pick.
All right. Next up, we have the Bills being picked by Mike. And I was actually hoping I could get a Bills pick in here because I love the way that this team is trending. I love how the Bills are trending. And I know that we got some Bills fans, Sven, that likes to watch and pop in here every now and then. He's got to feel great about his team. They just re-signed Stephon Diggs, my boy, to a 4-year extension. So even though it does say they could use a wide receiver, I think that you can almost go BPA here with the Bills, man, because anyone that you add to that team, they're solid most places. I would love to take a running back, just not this high. But who are you going to go with, Mike?
I'm going to go with best player available, just like you were talking about. I thought about going Drake London, wide receiver, but I don't. I think there's other guys that they can get later on in this draft that really help this team. You don't have to take a Drake London right here, but you also don't have to take a guy that contributes right away.
We're thinking the same way, man.
This team is so fucking good already. You can take a guy who you want to learn from a future Hall of Famer, and you draft the best player, and that's David Ojabo.
Absolutely.
I mean, if this happens and this falls to them, I don't know how they don't go in this direction. They've tried to build the edge a little bit in the last couple of years. We both really like Ojabo. I think that he is incredibly special. Obviously, the Achilles is a tougher injury to come back from. But when you can sit back and just get healthy, learn behind a future Hall of Famer, the Bills are not hurting for too many things. This is absolutely the pick, in my mind, where they should go, and that's where I'm going to go as Ojabo.
Yeah, I was just eyeing Ojabo as well for them because he's one of those guys that doesn't need to play right away. They've already got an outstanding team. You can let him sit, get healthy. You don't have to rush him back. If he doesn't play this year, it's not a big deal. But if he plays, it'll be towards the end of the year, right when they're getting into that playoff hunt, and to have a fresh body out there will be real nice. The only other options I really saw, look, they need interior offensive line help. They're a little bit shy at the guard position, but you're not going to get one of those guys here in the first round. You can wait on that easily and get a decent guard here in round 2, 3, 4. They could go cornerback as well because, again, they're playing in the AFC. They're going up against a lot of receiving talent and a lot of really top-tier quarterbacks, and they're going to be seeing those quarterbacks in the playoffs. So going out and getting another guy like an Andrew Booth or a Kyler Gordon would have been a really strong option for them, but I'm 100% on board with David Ojabo here. That's who I was eyeing as well. If I was making this pick, it was going to be Ojabo because Ojabo, again, it just seems too perfect. You let him sit, you let him get healthy, and then you're going to have just an outstanding pass rush, especially towards the end of the year and going forward.
All right. Well, I'm glad we were on the same page there. Made a ton of sense to me. This looks so good.
I'm hungry.
You guys go ahead. We're gonna eat a piece of steak.
Yep.
All right. Well, so with that, we can kind of move on to our next pick, and I'm going to be picking this next one. It's going to be the Titans, the Tennessee Titans. All right.
Punter.
So they're not going to be taking a punter, unfortunately. But for them, I'm thinking I'm focusing a little bit more on the defensive side of the ball. All right. So Drake London, I could see going here as a wide receiver, but they need help off the edge. I think Jermaine Johnson fits with them. He's going to be that pure edge rusher. And I think that this is more where he's going to fit. I could see maybe a Boye Mafe going here, but I like Jermaine Johnson for the Titans here, edge defender. Pride of Eden Prairie, Minnesota, a Minnesota boy who was on that Georgia team before transferring to Florida State. He just wasn't getting enough playing time, so he went to Florida State and put his skills on display there. So I'm going with Jermaine Johnson for the Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee Titans with Jermaine Johnson. All right. I mean, I like Jermaine. I think this is probably right around where he goes, a little later in the first round, maybe early second round. I'm glad that we're kind of both not high on Drake London right here. He does not wow me anywhere. I think there's actually a potential that he will fall because he's coming off an injury as well. I like Jermaine. That defense needs their corners are so fucking bad that they need some help with the pass rush. It makes sense to me. I like that pick.
All right. Now we have a comment here.
We got a couple of comments. I don't know. Yeah. Did we see the Echo one?
I didn't see the Echo one until now.
Okay, so apparently there's a little bit of echo when we're announcing, so very much sounds like the draft. That's fantastic. Thank you guys for the comment. And then this other one here. Oh, we both hit it. Go ahead, man.
All right. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I apologize. But in my opinion, in the last 3 years, the best football player in the world was Robert Lewandowski. Second place, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, not even the top 5 in the last 3 years. So I don't know a whole lot about football or soccer, as we call it here in the U.S. But sure, it's just a different sport.
No. No, you know what? We want to toss in some comments. I love this. I love this comment. And listen, I love football. Not so much football, but this take's terrible. It's absolutely atrocious. It's Christian Pulisic. Christian fucking Pulisic. The United States is going to win a goddamn World Cup off the legs of Christian Pulisic. Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi can lick my asshole. I don't even know who this other guy is. Christian Pulisic.
Lewandowski. He's very good.
Okay. Christian Pulisic. Let's go. He's taken the United States to a World Cup championship, if that's what they're called.
All right. And that echo comment was coming from Amber. Goose, thoughts on football?
Yeah.
All right. That's how I figured. With that, we can move on to our next pick. So on the clock, we have the Buccaneers. And Goose, you're going to be taking the Buccaneers pick here. who you got to support Tom Brady and no longer Bruce Arians as the head coach?
They don't need wide receiver. I was looking at safety. Their defense uses a lot of 2 and 3 safety sets. Lewis Kine is still there from Georgia. Is that how you say his name?
Sure.
I think it's.
But I mean,
9. But
Tom Brady's old. They have a need for their interior, their offensive line. So, I mean, I don't think he can scramble very well at this point in his career. I would take Zion Johnson just to protect what you got back there.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
All right. I absolutely love this pick.
agreed. Go ahead, man.
Yeah. So Zion Johnson, one of the best guards in the draft. This is around when you're going to be taking one of those top guard prospects. Usually, obviously, we took a guy who has some guard tackle flexibility earlier in Ekwonu, but I love Zion Johnson. And I've actually done several mock drafts myself, and I always see myself taking Zion Johnson here. You had Ali Marpet retire earlier in the year, so they actually have that interior offensive line need. That's one of the bigger needs, and you got to protect Tom because who knows how long Tom's going to play. Obviously, he retired and they came back. You got to protect your investment in him. Zion Johnson just makes too much sense here. It's almost like a Belichick pick where you just get to sit back and wait for the player that you need to fall into your lap. And it's not drafting too high here with Zion Johnson. Look, Zion Johnson, again, one of the better interior offensive linemen in this draft, but you want to take them more towards the back half of the first round if you're going to take them. And so Zion Johnson here makes perfect sense.
What are the chances that Tom Brady becomes minority owner / quarterback for the Dolphins next year with Sean Payton as the head coach?
I'm going to
Zero.
say 6%.
Have you read those stories?
I'll never say 0, but I'll say 6%.
I heard that was a good chance of happening, and then Brian Flores messed it all up with his lawsuit.
No. Less than 1% that was ever going to happen. I'm not even sure that's fucking allowed. Like, can you be the owner and play on the team? With player manager type shit?
I mean, I know
baseball
Likes to cheat, so I don't.
It used to be a thing. It used to be a thing way back in the day, like AFL days and stuff like that. Like before we had this combined NFL, I believe you had player owners and stuff like that. There were player coaches and stuff like that even. No, I don't expect Tom Brady to be doing anything with the Dolphins here in the short term or long term future, personally.
No, but I do love for Tom the fact that he got a fantastic guard prospect in Zion Johnson. This is probably the second best interior offensive lineman in this entire draft behind Linderbaum. If Linderbaum falls, I think the pick is Linderbaum here over Johnson. But I think,
because Ekwonu, we're taking him as a guard. I think Ekwonu is probably the best guard prospect if you're just looking at him as a guard. But if you're looking at him as being a guard tackle hybrid, then Zion Johnson is the best pure guard in this class.
The best pure guard in my opinion as well. Not the best interior. I think that's still Linderbaum at the center position, but doesn't have a ton of flexibility there. This is great. This is fantastic for the Bucs. They lose Marpet. The Bengals signed their other guard, I believe, as well. So they have a massive need on the interior of the line.
Yeah, plug and play.
Yep.
All right, next is Goose again. Goose is going to be selected for the Green Bay Packers here. Channel your inner Howie Roseman, Goose. How are the Packers going to fuck this up?
Well, they already addressed wide receiver. They do need a quarterback. Their quarterback's getting pretty old, even though he just signed a 4-year deal. But I think they have a sneaky need at safety, so I would go Lewis Kine here.
All right.
They do have 2 starting safeties, but I don't think it's a real strength.
Well, that defense is going to be hurting. They need to bring in some youth, some talent there. And Sign comes from that Georgia team that was just an outstanding defense this year. So Lewis Sign going to the Green Bay Packers. And I'm fine with this because it's not going to be making too much of an impact.
So, I mean, I don't love this pick. The kid's mostly a box safety. I don't like box safeties this high. There's other ways that I would have probably gone corner. Could have looked at Booth here. Elam, maybe. They're not going to draft 2 wide receivers in the first round because I mean, why would they? They probably should.
Are we surprised that Drake London's still on the board at this point? Or no?
That was your fault.
I am not. I don't think he makes it past the next 2 picks.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the Chiefs have a big need.
Yeah.
Chiefs. They just got rid of Tyreek. They
Well,
probably,
because they couldn't pay him.
correct. So I think he's off the board here in the next little bit. That's not what I would have done. That is entirely possible that's what Goose will do because they fuck this up all the time. They could have gone edge here. I think edge is a really good spot for him because there's not a ton of offensive linemen out there right now that I'm rushing up there to get. But I mean,
that's
not a bad player. He's too high for a pocket.
One of their safeties, Adrian Amos, is 29 in the final year of his deal. The other guy, Savage, is entering a contract year. That safety just seemed like a area.
Darnell Savage is a real good safety. Amos was good with the Bears, and he's kind of fallen off a little bit. So they can definitely work this guy in. I don't know that he'll be a day one starter, and that's kind of the issue for me with this is that, yes, it is looking towards the future, but with those first-round picks, when you have so many other needs elsewhere, that I would have expected them to go for something like an Andrew Booth, like Mike brought up from Clemson. Booth definitely is a first-round cornerback, and I think he could step in and be a starter for them right away. And if they really wanted to make Rodgers happy, they could go out and get another receiver, a Sky Moore or a Drake London, whoever they feel is best for him. But I do agree with your pick here, Goose, because I don't think that Gutekunst is thinking about anything. Yeah, I think that this is kind of their type of pick, where it's like, well, we'll look towards the future. We're not going to really worry about the present, even though we're built for the present as far as our contracts. They're screwed for the future with their contracts, but I don't know. I'm completely done with this. Go Packers.
Go Pack, go. Is that what we're on right now, Evo? Is that where we're at in this?
Pretty much, yeah. I'm loving their draft. Let's just get 2 first-round picks and fucking blow it.
Yeah, I figured that was coming. Well, you're on the next pick. You got the Chiefs and their pick at, was it 29?
Yep.
And then I'm picking for them at 30. So go ahead, and whatever you do here is going to affect what I do in the next one. So you're up 29 for the Chiefs.
So because they do have needs at wide receiver, I have to go with Drake London here. They have Marquez Valdez-Scantling, right?
Yep.
And Travis Kelce.
Yep.
And not a whole lot else.
They got Pringle. I like Pringle.
They got Pringle, but he's like a number 3.
Yeah, he's a high-end 3, low-end 2.
And I think, like I said, I think the ceiling for Drake London is if he were able to turn out to be like a Mike Thomas type of guy. I don't know that he's going to do that. USC receivers in general kind of scare me, but they have to bring in someone to throw the ball to. So that's why Drake London is going to be the pick for me here, and I'll make your next pick here for the Chiefs a little bit more interesting.
Is he gone? Oh. They lost Pringle as well. Pringle's now with the Bears.
Okay. Yep, that's right.
Okay, so you're going London here. Now, okay, listen, I'm not huge on this kid. He's 6'4", 220-ish, 219.
Is he going to be good on day one with that broken ankle?
I don't know. I don't think so. That's a tough injury to come back from. Now, I do like his ball skills on contested balls because he's massive, and he was a basketball player. He was on scholarship at USC to play basketball as well.
Yeah, Torres likes to get on balls too.
Yeah. He wasn't paying attention.
No retort. Sure. All right. So I just he scares me because of the ankle injury.
They do have Juju Smith-Schuster there.
Yeah.
So they do have another option in that.
They have a guy at slot in Juju because that's what Juju is. He's a slot receiver. Drake makes sense. He's a big target. Travis Kelce's obviously a stud. One thing I do like about Drake, though, is that he's very young. I think he won't even be 21 when the season starts. So he's still growing into his body. He's still going to get bigger, faster, stronger. And the kid's already, 6'4", 220. So he's a big-bodied guy. I don't dislike the pick there, and it kind of changes what I'm going to do here at 30 because I was going to go with a receiver, but I was going to go with somebody else other than Drake London. All right, so at 30, this Chiefs defense is fucking terrible. They're so bad. Like, they were not good in the secondary. They do not create pass rush. But the best player on the board here is in the secondary. I'm going to go with Andre Booth Jr. out of Clemson. He's, pretty decent size, 6 foot. They need some help in the back end. That's where I'm going. I was going to take another receiver before Drake London just because I wanted to see him fall down the board even better.
So with that ankle injury, like I said, they do have MVS, they have Kelsey, they have Juju, so they have some options there, but you don't have anything like a Tyreek Hill. That's why I would have looked a little bit more towards Sky Moore personally, but I think that they're going to go with Drake London there because he probably is a fringe first rounder. Sky Moore also a fringe first rounder, and Drake London, if he hadn't had the injury, probably could have been taken higher. His draft stock might have not been as low. And then as far as Booth, definitely, like I said, he's a first-round corner. I think that he gets overlooked because some of the other guys were already picked. He's very solid. They need defensive backs because, like I said, their defense is not fantastic, and they're going to be going up against a lot of receiving talent. So good pick in Andrew Booth there and for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah. Now, when you picked, I would have taken Sky Moore there. I think Sky Moore is going to be really, really fucking good. What I'm hoping is that Sky Moore falls to 44 when the Browns have their first pick. I don't think that will happen, though. I think he was going to go top of the second round, if not the back end of the first. Booth is, he's a good corner. He's going to be your probably third or fourth corner off the board, depending on how people value the slot corner position. But, what makes me really happy looking at the draft board now is that there are no, really good interior offensive line. I know that there's a guy there. I'm not super high on him.
Kenyon Green?
Yeah, I'm not super high on Kenyon Green.
I think that he's a fringe first rounder, and that here at the back end of the first round, it makes a little bit of sense for someone to take him.
Let's turn it over to the guy who's going to be making this pick. We got Goose picking for the Cincinnati Bengals at pick number 31.
So going into the offseason, I think the Bengals' biggest need was offensive line to protect Joe Burrow, but I think pretty sure they addressed that somewhat in free agency and got a couple players.
Yes.
At this point, with who's available, I think they could probably just wait and address that interior, the offensive line, in a later round. And I would just take Khair Elam, physical press cornerback.
Khair
Elam. Physical press cornerback. They have a need. Their need at cornerback, I think, is almost as big as their need at interior offensive line.
So I agree they definitely have a need at quarterback because Eli Apple is going to get torched again by somebody. So I like the Elam pick here. It does make me worried that he's also very, very handsy, has a lot of penalties called against him. But I like that pick there because it helps them kind of slide Eli Apple the fuck out of there after a little bit because he's only on a one-year deal that he re-signed back with them. I think they have done a really good job of addressing the offensive line, which pisses me off. So corner makes a lot of sense right here, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like big for him. I'm not high on Kenyon Green. I do think that he can go in the first round. He'll be pick 15 and later first round type of guy that we could see getting drafted there. But cornerback, definitely a need. Again, AFC, tons of receiving talent. You need those defensive backs. And Eli Apple ain't the answer, man. I mean, he's going to be listed as a starter on the team. He shouldn't be. I'm very surprised that they brought him back. All right. So I have our last pick here of the day. Yep. Going with the Lions again. All right.
Back with the Lions, who had an interesting move early on in this draft by going Malik Willis at 2.
You know, this in the real world, this might be where they address getting a quarterback behind Jared Goff at this point.
Yeah.
This is the real world.
If they do what I would expect and not pick a quarterback with their first overall pick, with their first pick, I'd be going with a Matt Corral here. So Matt Corral, injured, he doesn't have to start right away. You don't want him to start right away as a rookie quarterback, regardless of the injury or not. You have Goff. You can let Goff run. You have Blah as a backup quarterback, and you're able to let whoever the rookie is come in, sit, learn. And Corral is a decent quarterback. The injury is a little bit scary, but you're able to let him sit, learn, heal. And this is where I would normally take him. But obviously I can't take two quarterbacks because that would just be ridiculous, right? So they have a lot of needs all over this team. It's kind of tough because I'm not huge on any of the guys that are left available. Linebacker, defensive back are there two other needs that are listed. Jalen Petrie, I'm not as high on him as another one of the cornerbacks that I had brought up earlier. Sky Moore would be real interesting because, again, I don't think that they have great receiving options there other than St. Brown, who obviously played way above
Did they just sign a
level.
guy?
They need weapons.
No.
They don't have anyone up there.
They don't have a whole lot, so that's why I'm kind of leaning towards Sky Moore here. And I know you want him to fall, Mike.
I do want him to fall really bad.
All right,
Because
you know
this
what?
is one of my favorite guys.
I'm going to go after a defensive back. I think that they need a defensive back. I think they need corners to go against. Excuse me. To go against all that receiving talent that the Packers have and stuff like that. And again, this is one of those picks that I think that PFF has them rated incorrectly. I'm going with Kyler Gordon. All right,
Okay.
He was the guy that I was thinking about for the Vikings, but I just couldn't pass up.
Stingley.
I couldn't pass up Stingley. I like Kyler Gordon a lot. I think that he is a mid-first round talent. I think he's better than Booth. So I'm surprised that they haven't rated that low. All right. But that is going to round out our first round draft, boys.
Yeah, so Kyler Gordon there is interesting. I think that's where they actually will address quarterback in this draft. There's some other ways that they could have gone based on our board. I still think that Dan Campbell's going to want to try to build from the line on either side, offensive and defensive line, so we could see a Kenyon Green go there. I'm not high on him, but that feels like it could have been a real big possibility. Them going in that direction because I mean that's who Dan Campbell is. He's a fucking in-your-face kind of hard-nosed coach that build from interior out. They're gonna get a quarterback at some point in this draft, whether that's Malik Willis at 2 or somebody later on at 32. I think that will absolutely be addressed. I'm glad you didn't take Sky Moore. I want to continue to see him fall down to 44. And the Lions did sign a guy. They signed DJ Chark this offseason, so they're going to have DJ Chark and Amon-Ra St. Brown on that team. Amon-Ra performed pretty goddamn well last year. But, yeah, I mean, that rounds out our mock draft, man. Not bad. Looks pretty good.
Some interesting picks. Yeah. The number 2 one just kind of threw things off, especially for me picking this last pick.
Up and I was excited about it.
Well, when I talked to old the Vanilla Gorilla, Vanilla Chinchilla, $20 to $20, David Weidemann, when I talked to him, I was like, hey, you could go with that first round pick. I think it's a slam dunk to take Aiden Hutchinson. I was like, or you could go with the Lions, and then you could really shake things up if you wanted to. And I was like, but don't do that, because that would just make the rest of the draft a little wonky. And so what did we do? We let Torres pick.
And then we got the same.
And he does it anyways. Yeah. So, interesting draft. I don't think this is how it's exactly going to go.
I don't think so either. We're going to see defensive line and offensive line go very high in this. Quarterbacks will fall, and then you're going to have those two guys at defensive back who are both, in my opinion, top 10. Ahmad Gardner going at 10 was crazy to me. I thought he's should have been way higher. I know people are eyeing on Kyle Hamilton. I think corner has a little higher value than safety does in the league. But it also depends on what kind of scheme you run. Those teams that run a 3-safety scheme, like my Browns, they may value that Kyle Hamilton pick a little higher than they would, value a corner there.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I'll pull our draft board off there. I don't think we need to go over a whole lot else today, Mike. I mean, this was the whole purpose. We're going to run through all these fucking draft picks.
And then, we were going to draft some fucking players. We did that. It was a good time. Glad Dave got opted in here for a little bit. It was great having Torres here with me.
I brought steak.
By the way, that was fucking delicious. I'm gonna add another piece after we're done with this.
Yeah, my stomach is grumbling. I haven't eaten today.
So I had some delicious breakfast. Producer Amber made this morning. Baseball game. Really happy that the Maroon Diamondbacks went out there, got a win, 7-4. And then tonight we're gonna have some Play 60 playoff football. So flag football. We are in the playoffs. We have the best record. We're going in as the number 1 seed. So we're going to try to live stream that on the Lineman Lounge page. I'll put that out on some other platforms or some other pages as well. That way everybody can kind of see that. You'll get to watch Coach Mike call a fucking masterful offense tonight and hopefully lead us to a championship. So I'm pretty pumped for that. And guys, I thank you so much for joining us and helping us rock this mock draft today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Goose. Your energy was great. Torres, you definitely added some Latin heat, so we got to love that. It's nice to have some diversity on here every now and then.
That shit's kind of hot. It's nice. So.
And then, for me, I'm got just under an hour until my Mavericks play in the championship versus Denver, which I do have a scratcher on with Kayla Hubbard, who didn't want to be a part of today's mock draft process because I can't call her the B word, I guess. But
don't do that.
But she's just too busy, ruck marching and doing wine
being healthy
yoga
and
yeah, she's gonna do the Norwegian foot march with us.
Yeah, I've actually gotten accepted into doing that, and I'm gonna probably decline.
You should just do it.
Yeah, I should, but I probably won't. So I don't
do it so you could give Mark Boudreau crap because he won't do it.
I don't feel like paying $10 to walk 30 kilometers.
I will pay them for you. You know what? I have already paid them for you. You're good.
Okay.
All right. Well, I also have to work because it's this march, this 30-kilometer ruck march starts at midnight.
18.6 miles.
Oh, fuck you.
And you have to do it in a 14:30 pace per mile.
Doable.
It absolutely is. But also, I'm going to be getting off of work at midnight. And I'm not going to go straight into
So why don't you just take leave? Don't Dax get like a lot of leave?
I have a decent amount of leave.
Then just use it.
But also, we have multiple people on that shift that are going to be doing it. So they're getting Thursday and Friday off.
I'm not getting Thursday. I'm just getting I'm leaving.
You work day shift.
Yeah.
Is that this upcoming week?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's it's in like a week or two.
Chucks, I won't be here.
Yeah. Either way,
I'm not gonna fucking be. I'm leaving. I'm going out to Cleveland, baby.
Either way, I've got a scratcher on today's championship game for my Minnesota State Mavericks to win versus Denver University. And Kayla, just because she's a Denver homer and a Colorado homer, wanted to do that. So either way, if you're on watch that, it's on ESPN2 here in just under an hour. So horns up for my Mavericks. And that's it for me, man. You got anything else? Anyone that want to say anything? Goose, you want to promote your podcast? Vanilla Pudding. Yeah. Go Christ.
Go Lopes. Yeah. That's fantastic. Thanks, guys. Once again, thank you very much. If you hung around for this long, we cannot thank you enough. You guys can check us out on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We're still trying to get more followers on the Twitter and the YouTube so we can push more content out. Facebook has been fantastic. We're almost, I think, at 390 followers on the Facebook group, but we're still pushing for that Lineman Lounge, their own YouTube page. We need 100 subscribers. So tell your friends, like, subscribe, come hang out, because obviously this is a pretty goddamn good group of people to be around. Goose and Torres are not always here, but they're always interacting typically in the comment section, so you'll have them there as well. Thank you guys so much. I got to tear this shit down and get ready to go to football, and you guys will see that later tonight when we live stream that shit. I got to go put my phone on the charger because this little bullshit's not working.
All right. Yep. Thanks for joining us, everybody. See you.
Go Cole.
Welcome to the Lineman Lounge, hosted by Mike and Evo, calling their shots and being outlandish.
Breaking news from the Lineman Lounge. My fantasy football team just took a huge fucking hit. And that also makes it even more likely that the Raiders are going to beat the Ravens on Monday night. Le'Veon Bell is about to be your starter. Latavius Murray is going to go there as well. Jesus, fuck my ass.
Get ready for the thickest podcast in the game. Coming to you from Hangar 6, where sleeves are optional. Strap in. The show starts